That door leads to Nishanti's apartment. I can't remember who lives there. The elevator. Yeah, she invited me to come over, but so soon? I just saw her. I can't just invite myself over now. Besides, I'm more eager to see my own home. I'm not knocking on some stranger's door.
One of the original background artists for this game, this is like full disclosure now, it's 5 years later, statute of limitations, whatever, he kind of disappeared like 3/4 of the way through the production process. And it kind of left me high and dry. And at that time, I was determined to get this done. I was so determined. I had gambled everything, all my savings. I was like not sleeping half the time. I was pretty insane. I'll talk more about that later, but I was pretty insane. Like I was, come hell or high water, I was going to be damned if I was not going to get this game out on the day that I said I was going to get it out. And this background artist who left, I think, almost all of the backgrounds in various stages of completion. So nothing was actually finished. And with like a month and a half to go, disappeared, gone, left no address or anything. And I had to really scramble. I burned through about like 4 or 5 other artists to finish this. And that's the main reason why in the original version of this game, there are not that many hotspot descriptions. I talked about that before, how I decided to go back and add more of them. And I was able to do that by bringing Rebecca in to re-record the lines. So it's just interesting now how I always had to scrabble for artists back then, and I don't really have to do that anymore. So it's interesting to see how that's changed over time.
Home, thank God. I've never been so happy to see a 500 square foot room in my life.
This room, strangely enough, is one of the most frequently seen rooms in the game, but it was the last one drawn. And when Tom Scarry, the background artist, he sent this to me, I'm just like, it's pink. And I have to admit, I never really thought much about what Rose's apartment should look like. I always kind of imagined it as being very bare, with lots of books, and not a lot of personality. And the fact that he made the walls so colorful, he made it a lot more colorful than I kind of imagined that they should be. But I look at it now, and I kind of like it. Because I think that it's very important to establish Rose's home as like her sanctuary. And it has to be comfortable. It has to be a place that you'd want to return to. Otherwise, you know, she wouldn't want to be there all the time. And that kind of makes sense. And the fact that it's pink is kind of nice, because it gives Rosa a little bit more of a feminine quality, which she didn't really have before, because she's so standoffish that you don't really get a sense of her personality most of the time. So it's nice that she has, you know, this colorful apartment that kind of shows a little bit more of her, and I thought that was very effective. So nice call, Tom Scarry.
It's just a telephone. Hello?
This is Dr. Quentin from Bellevue Hospital.
Yes?
I was your aunt's primary care physician. Did you receive my letter?
Yes, I received it. I haven't had the time to come by, though.
That's all right. I'm sure you're busy. However, should you find the time today, my entire schedule is free.
Sure. I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. Good day.
If I don't visit him, he's just going to keep bothering me. I suppose I should just get it over with. My computer. It's a bit old, but it lets me access the internet and do my writing. I am just feeling so uninspired today. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel up to it. But today, it's just not happening. Just a trash can filled with crumpled up novel ideas. I don't need to take the trash out, it's not even full. Just some old book review clippings. They're fine where they are. I have nobody to call. That's Griff, the PI bear. I've had him as long as I can remember. He's in horrible shape, but I don't have the heart to throw him away. Griff is fine where he is. This is the only living plant I own. I bought it 2 years ago. It's still living despite my total lack of care. I suppose I should trim this plant. Maybe one day. It's my notebook. I don't need my notebook now. This TV was here when I moved in. I don't need to bother. I don't get reception anyway.
One of the beta testers, when seeing this for the first time, was like, "How come her TV doesn't have any reception? I don't see the point." This is a New York thing. Maybe those of you outside of New York don't get this, but I don't know. It seems that most of the people I know, as a rule, don't watch a lot of TV. Maybe it's just the people I hang out with. We like to watch movies. I know me personally, I've got a TV. I have a nice TV. I get zero reception, but I have a DVD player, and I like to watch movies. And that's how I live. And several people I know live the exact same way. So this kind of lifestyle really isn't that unusual.
I'm not up for watching a movie. Besides, I've seen all of them a dozen times.
Way back when I completed the freeware version of Shiva in June, end of June 2006, it wasn't long before I got an email from a guy named E.L. Yammer, an Israeli graphic artist, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, I like your work, and if you ever need artwork done, I'd be happy to help you out." And I love getting letters like this. It's always great when talented people want to help me, because my art sucks. If anyone has played my old freeware games where I did the art, you can tell my art sucks. And so EJ, I saw his work, and he did that. If you look at the Wadjadai site, you'll see that promotional picture for Shiva, and it's beautiful. That Rabbi Stone looking over the New York skyline like that, and he came on board the Blackwell train when another artist who was originally going to do these close-up pictures here, Matt Gardner, who I talked about earlier, was going to sketch them, and this other artist was going to color them. He turned out to be too busy, so he bailed, and I sent a letter to EJ. I said, "Hey, could you do this? Could you help us out?" And he said, "Sure." So I sent him Matt's sketch, and within 2 days he had this done, and it's beautiful. I mean, look at this. This is just amazing. And this picture itself, I really wanted to, I don't really mention it, and I hope you get it, because I kind of hammer this home a lot, is that, Rosa earlier poured the ashes off of Brooklyn Bridge, and here's a picture of her and her aunt on Brooklyn Bridge. That's like the only connection she has with her aunt is the bridge. So they return to the bridge many times. That's sort of a reoccurring thing, the Brooklyn Bridge, because that's the only memory, only thing Rosa has of her aunt. So I hope you got that. I hope you got that. I hope it wasn't too subtle, or too obvious for that matter. But anyway, E.L. Yammer, Israeli graphic artist. Awesome guy, amazing work. He single-handedly saved the project. He just did so many little things. He did the graphic interface. He did all the inventory items. He did the map screen. He did so many little details that no one else had time to do, and he just did such amazing stuff. So thank you, Mr. EJ. You did an awesome job.
It's a photograph of Auntie Lauren and me. Auntie Lauren. She took care of me after my parents died. For most of my life, Auntie Lauren was a vegetable, slowly rotting away in a hospital bed. I don't remember what she was like before that. This picture is all I have to go by. No. I used to talk to this picture when I was a little girl, but not anymore. It's me. I look scared out of my mind. I don't remember when this picture was taken, but I look about 4 or 5 years old. When I was a little girl, I'd try to talk to my younger self in this picture. I was trying to give myself advice about the future. It didn't work then, and I doubt it would work now. It's a photograph of Auntie Lauren and me. It's fake, but kinda pretty. I don't need to touch it. I know these plants are fake. There's nothing in these cabinets I want right now. Out of sight, out of mind. My window, with the curtains firmly shut. No. I open those curtains and a dozen windows can look directly in here. Those curtains stay shut and prying eyes stay out. Cook? Why bother when every Chinese restaurant in the area delivers?
Yes, I totally ripped off this line. I am an evil thief. You might remember a previous game of mine called Two of a Kind, where Timothy Walters goes into this other person's kitchen and says, why should I cook when every Chinese restaurant in town delivers? That's a very New York thing to say, so it seemed more appropriate to put it into this game. And so I made sure I was covered. I asked myself permission if it was okay if I copied from myself, and I thought about it, and then I said to myself, sure, yeah, it's okay, but I want it in writing. So I drafted up a letter and gave it to myself, and I signed it, and I signed it, and I filed it, and I gave a copy to myself, and I kept a copy for myself, and so I'm covered. Neither of us plans on suing the other, so we're all good.
Just a standard stove oven combo. There's nothing in these cabinets I want right now. Out of sight, out of mind. That door leads to my apartment.
You just saw the lights flickering on and off. Originally, I had wanted to do that to kind of establish that the lights in this hospital were a little bit faulty, so the guard wouldn't get so crazy suspicious later on when the lights totally went off. And originally, this room had the lights flickering randomly as you wandered around, and I kind of liked that, although I realized when I started getting more graphical elements in, the door opens and shut, the guard fiddling with the antenna and all this stuff, that it just got to be much more complicated than I had originally wanted it to be, because the light levels wouldn't match. I do an animation for the door opening, but the door opening would be for the the lit room, and then the guard animating for the radio. That was also for the lit version of the room, and switching back and it just got way too complicated. And eventually I decided, forget it. I'll just have the lights flicker when the elevator doors open and shut. And in a way that kind of makes sense, because I used to have a printer, actually, that every time you printed something, the lights in my apartment would get dangerously dim and start flickering on and off. So this isn't entirely out of laziness. You can logically justify it. So I hope I can be forgiven.